Whose idea was the tiers?
Well, it happened before my time, so with precision I can't tell you. I do know it was the legislature passed the tier language. It's my understanding that our agency was not terribly excited about the tiers whenever they passed, but they passed. It's what we're living with today. It is in essence the cards that we've been dealt.
So you have to work with what you have.
Exactly.
What's going on with the Advocacy Center lawsuit? You know, the tiers are on hold. Do you know what's going on with that at the moment?
The hearing took place. The judge has promised to give us a ruling by July 28th. So at that time we will know whether to proceed with implementation of the tiers, assuming a favorable ruling. Otherwise, we're going to have to, we'll have to decide what to do if the ruling goes against us.
Okay. You know, what's new? What happened to Maximus? How was this decision reached?
Well, again, it was the legislature. I think part of the overall reductions that took place, and I'm not sure a lot of people realize, but there were some fairly substantial reductions to our agency's administration. We gave up a position in the budget shop. But these contracts were cut by $1.2 million. We felt the best way to deal with that was to consolidate the two contracts into one contract and rebid, and thus we have currently the one contract at APS at a savings of $1.2 million annually.
Okay, and speaking of APS, healthcare is now one PSA unit. I've also heard that they will be sending out service authorizations to providers. Can you explain this decision?
Well, the decision was made because there had been some concerns from providers that service authorizations were not being delivered to them in a timely manner. Also, this will be a web-based service authorization that the vendor has decided to, or basically that the vendor has agreed to do for us. So we hope that it ultimately increases efficiency. Now, I don't know that this is a decision that is chiseled in stone just yet, but the reason for this was hopefully to come up with a system that was a little bit more efficient and a little bit more timely. If it can be automated, then the service authorizations can essentially be instant. So that's what I would hope would happen.
Good. Now, the wait list, I'd like to read another letter from one of my readers. They state, the waiting list must be addressed. The state needs to prioritize the list and start putting adults at the top of the list. All individuals under 22 must be served by their schools. It's the law. What advice would you give her?
Well, I think she would realize that not everyone would agree with that statement, that only adults should be in the waiver. I would strongly agree that we have to make sure that resources outside of our waiver system are looked at first. I mean, by law, our waiver is the payer of last resort. So not only should we encourage, we have to insist that where services are available through the school, where services are available through the state plan, that those outside resources are tapped first. If we don't start to do that, if we are continuously trying to manage deficits, and what you're going to get are more Senate Bill 1124s, more service eliminations, more rate cuts, and then that's just going to be to manage a deficit. It's not going to help us free up money to take anybody off of the wait list. So we've got to manage the program we have first, and then we can start to think about enrolling people off the wait list. But I absolutely agree that looking outside the waiver where we can is an excellent place to start.
Now, the topic of providers, MAP, the MedWaiver Alliance for Professional Providers, are now reaching out to all providers in Florida, offering free help in any way they can. Sandy Dayton has asked me to let you know about them and all the work they do to help providers. What's your thoughts and insight? What information and help can you give her to the strong group?
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled to see that other people are organizing and getting involved and want to step up to the plate and help us find solutions. I would urge her to contact me personally and to get involved at the area level and continue to use your website to inform people of her efforts and what she's doing, and I look forward to working with Ms. Dayton and the group that she has organized.
Thank you. And to all providers, I'm sure you'd like to know, to join MAP, the organization, for free, of course, and to get help for free in many different ways, just call Sandy Dayton at area code 352-637-9001. They are an organization that are here to help you in any way that they can. Now, Jim, the SNCS letter is also from one of my readers. I'd like to know if you agree with her and how this could be stopped. This reader states, cutting salaries for the lowest paid employees also results in getting some of the least capable people. Many lack basic job skills, a good work ethic, and common sense needed to deal with clients. I have had people not show up, break things, and nearly set my house on fire and damage my van because they refused to listen to me as a disabled client. Of course, I fired them. Luckily, I am bright, but I cringe to think some of these people are being sent out to deal with the mentally challenged population who will get taken advantage of.
Well, I think that she did the right thing, and that was to fire them. And
of
certainly
course.
That's the most immediate, direct thing that the consumer can do. And I'm really glad that the waiver is set up to where the consumer can do that. They can fire a bad provider. I would hope for people who, for others who maybe not, who are not as able as she is to evaluate, that they have some caring, responsible person in their life, whether it's a waiver support coordinator, but someone to be involved and to blow the whistle on things like that when it reaches that level. We are under a lot of stress. Our providers are under a lot of stress. They just are coping with a provider rate reduction. And sometimes, unfortunately, that leads to, can lead to problems where you get staff that are not well paid and maybe who do not exhibit the level of care and attention to detail that we would like. The most effective, immediate way to deal with that, of course, is to get rid of the provider. As a fallback, certainly if they don't show up, if they do damage to someone, then there are ways through just Medicaid recoupment or Medicaid program integrity if it gets to that level. But I would urge people to get rid of a bad provider and find another one.